Hey there, it's Lori here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you've stopped by today. I have a pile of stuff here and I want to show you what I've got, and we're going to make this card together. So the first thing I have is this Waffleflower Be a Unicorn die. Super cute, comes with 3 different dies, lots of details, and it's just an adorable die. It's a great focal point for your card. Next thing we're going to be using is Taylor Expressions Simple Strips Friendship, along with the Simple Strips dies. If you haven't seen these yet, they're amazing, and I'll show you how to use those. I've got a white card front, some fun foam. I'm going to use a teal vertical card base. I'm also going to be using some foam adhesive from scrapbook.com. If you haven't seen this adhesive, it is amazing, and I'm excited to show you. I've also got some of their double-sided foam adhesive shapes. These are just some circle pop dots. Next is the largest rectangle masking stencil from Tailored Expressions. Also going to be using the Waffleflower Mini Media Mat. This is an amazing tool to have at your desk, and I'll show you how I just keep it off to the side and use it with pretty much every card. Also, we'll be using scrapbook.com's embossing ink. This is an amazing ink, and I've got the re-inker here with it. And then for my other ink, I'm going to be using Altenew's Lagoon. This is a gorgeous teal, and it matches my card base. So to get started, I've already die cut the unicorn in 3 different pieces. I have a white cardstock, a piece of fun foam, and then I die cut a piece of silver glitter along with the top of the unicorn. So what we're going to do first, I'm going to take a post-it note and tuck this down into the cheek. These cheek pieces and the arms and the ears, they kind of have that full die cut piece, and you can just mask a little bit easier with that. I'm going to use my Tailored Expressions blender brushes. Oh, I forgot, we'll also be using ballet slippers from Pink Fresh. And on this media mat, I'm just going to blot off to the side, and then I'm going to mask off the wing. Forgot that part. And then I'm just going to blend up into the cheek. This just adds a light pink to the cheek of the unicorn. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, and then add color over there too. So once you remove those masks, you can see some really cute pink cheeks. I wanted to say one thing too about this mat. Obviously, this is my pink brush. I use this with all different colors of pink, dark pink all the way to this light pink. One really nice thing, and you can see I did it recently, if you're going to blend, this mat has really helped kind of almost work as a brush cleaner. I just add my ink and scrub it off to the side, and it really cleaned off a lot of that dark ink. And then I knew I'd be getting the light pink that I wanted and not some dark pink color that I had used previously. So this is kind of a good way to clean your brush. So I'm going to use R81 Copic just to give the ears just a little bit of pink, and it matches really well to the Ballet Slippers Pink Fresh ink. I've got a piece of low tack tape here. I'm going to put that down on my work surface, and I'm going to pop out the eyes and the nose, and I'm going to place those on this tape. And then using a black Copic marker, I'm going to color those shapes. I'm going to use some more of this tape on the back of the unicorn, and that way when I pick up these die cuts and I place them back onto the unicorn, they will stick to that tape. But by placing them on this tape to color, it just helps them stick down, and you won't lose your pieces, especially because they're so tiny. All right, so using this wax jewel picker upper, I've got those down in place. For the next step, I'm going to cut off the horn and the wings of the white cardstock because I want the silver cardstock to show behind. And obviously you don't need to use this much silver. You could just add those pieces to the side, but I felt like this gave it a kind of a stronger base, and you can see then the top and the wings are sparkly. So I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive on the back, and I'm going to make sure that I don't put liquid adhesive on his little arms. We're going to pop those up later, so I want to keep those free of any adhesive. And that should fit perfectly there on the die. With that liquid adhesive, you can slide it around and it will just fit right into place. I'm going to pop the extra pieces here out of the small die cut, and you could color this and make rainbow unicorn hair if you wanted to, but I decided I just wanted to keep it white, and that way it just kind of pops off the unicorn. All right, so I'm going to place that down, and you can see the embossing Gives you a good place to line that up. I do want to take a X-Acto knife and just go down and lift those arms up just a little bit, just for dimension, little dimension. Okay, so now here comes the fun foam. The reason I did this is because I want the unicorn to be lifted off of the card base. And I'm cutting the wings off, and I'll tell you why here in just a second. But again, I'm going to go in with some more liquid adhesive, and I'm going to hit everything but the hands and the wings. And then I'll place that down onto the foam adhesive, or to the fun foam, and then you have a 3D unicorn ready for the card base. So now we're going to make the card front, and I'm going to show you how to use the rectangle masking stencils from Tailored Expression. These stencils have 2 etched lines on the front where you can perfectly center either a full A2 card front or just the next size smaller down. This is 1/8 of an inch smaller for my card front. Basically what you do is just shift that card front into those lines to where you can see that it's centered, and then you just add a little bit of tape. You can use pixie spray, whatever you want to adhere the back of your card to this stencil. Doing it this way and using these stencils protects your card front from any ripping of tape if you're masking off. This is just a quick and easy way to mask. If you look at the front, you can see you have a perfect frame around, and you can see that the card base is perfectly lined up with that inner line. So for my background, I'm going to be using Lagoon ink from Altenew, and along with my blue brush from Tailored Expressions. I'm going to go in at the bottom, really light-handed at first, and just add in blue ink, almost kind of like in an ombre fashion. A little darker on the bottom and going into white on the card front. So just as simple as that. Then you just peel your card front, and then you can see you've got this perfectly masked area on your card. All right, next I'm going to attach the unicorn to this. Again, I'm just going to use some more liquid adhesive, and this is where the double-sided pop dots come in. So I've got 2 of the scrapbook.com pop dots. I'm going to take the backing off of one and stack these up so they're just a little bit taller than what fun foam would be. I'm going to cut these in half, and I'm going to add 1 to each of the wings, or I should say a half to each of the wings. And that way when I press this down, the wings are just a little bit more popped up than the rest of the unicorn. If you can see that right there. So just like that, you can see that gives a little bit more dimension with that doubling up those pop dots. I've got my score buddy. I'm gonna score this card base at 5.5. I'm gonna put some ATG on my card base, and I'm gonna put on a layer of fun foam. I get this fun foam from Michaels. I cut it down to 3 3/4 by 5 inch. That way it's the perfect dimension for a card front. I'm gonna add another layer of ATG. So then we'll add the card front to the card base. You can just center that on there. To create the sentiments, we're using the Tailored Expression Simple Strips Friendship Stamp along with the Simple Strips die. I put the stamp in my MISTI and then stamped the image with scrapbook.com's embossing ink. If you don't have this ink, I highly recommend it. It works really well. They also have a re-inker, and I would just want to say re-inkers are really important to get a good image when you heat emboss. So definitely don't be afraid to use your re-inker and get the pad nice and juicy so you get a really good embossed image. I heat embossed this with white embossing powder, and then it was ready for the die cut. Just so I have another color in my stash, I did one on black. So you line the die up with those squares, and then you tape it down and run it through. Once you run it through your die cut machine and remove the die, you get this amazing pile of sentiments that are ready to use. Once I have all these ready, I have a cup over here that I keep all of my sentiments in, and this is just, they're ready to go for next time. For several next times. I've chosen the sentiment from your favorite friend in a gray. You could also use that in black cardstock or pink, but I just want to keep the sentiment light. What I'm going to do is cut the banner off the end and then cut in between each word to where I have perfect little square embossed words, and we're going to line those up on the side of the unicorn. I'll be using scrapbook.com's premium foam adhesive. This is an 1/8 inch wide foam adhesive strip. If you haven't seen this before, this is amazing adhesive for making shaker cards or shaker boxes or adding sentiments to your card. There's just an 1/8 inch strip, and what I'm going to do is cut off a chunk And you can see I just have this perfect, very flexible dimensional. I'm going to cut this in little pieces to add behind those sentiment squares. All right, so I'm just going to attach these, and I'm going to make them a little bit crooked just for a fun look. So that's it for my card today. I appreciate you coming by. I hope you take a second and subscribe to my channel. I hope to be making a lot more videos very soon. I hope you have a great day and come back soon.